everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, and today I am here at Book People in Austin, Texas with author Katharine McGee. Hi! Celebrating the release of The Dazzling Heights. So, The Dazzling Heights is a sequel, but why don't you tell us a little bit about the series without spoilers?
Sure. So The 1,000th Floor is the first book in the trilogy, and the sequel, The Dazzling Heights, came out 2 weeks ago. The series is set in New York City 100 years in the future when there is a 1,000-story skyscraper. So I actually used to work in publishing as an editor. I edited several young adult series, including Pretty Little Liars, the final few Vampire Diaries novels. So I was thinking a lot about the trends in young adult, and basically this is my response to dystopian novels. So all of those novels have futures where the world has gone wrong, where we are ruled by an evil dictator or children are fighting to the death, and I really wanted to show a fun, optimistic, more upbeat take on the future.
So when you were living in New York, what was your favorite place there?
Oh my gosh, so many. I think one of my favorite places, or just things to do in general in New York, is to go on rooftops, which won't surprise you having read the book. There are so many great rooftops in New York, and there's this magical day that's kind of the first day of spring in New York when it's been freezing and everyone sort of lives like mole people, wrapped up in their coats and hates taking the subway, and then it gets not even that warm, but it's probably in the 60s and everyone acts like it's 85 and runs around in shorts, and all the rooftop restaurants open and everyone wants to go to brunch, and it's just, it feels like New York sort of emerges from a cocoon. I would say that's probably one of my favorites, and then you can have all these amazing views out of the city.
So, if you had to write a book set in another magical place, but not New York, what would you pick?
Well, I actually have a book that's set in, it's not a magical place, but my next series is set in a speculative world. I can't say anything about it. So aside from that, you said another magical place?
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to write Harry Potter fan fiction in America, the schools. Mm-hmm. I keep thinking that someday I'm gonna just like go secretly do that online. I'm gonna make up some characters and put them in the magical world of boarding school in California and just set them loose.
Oh my god, people would definitely read that. I would read that.
Yeah, I have to write it under a really cool pen name, so we should probably think of one for me.
What Hogwarts house are you in?
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Oh.
I'm a very nerdy, intellectual Ravenclaw.
I'm a Hufflepuff myself, but I feel like both Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff are a little bit underrated, you know?
So underrated.
Yeah. If you had to sort your main characters into Hogwarts houses, which ones would you put them in?
I haven't gotten this question before. I think Lita is definitely a Slytherin. Mm-hmm. Was my first right off the bat. I think Watt is probably a Gryffindor. Eris, I don't know. I'd have to come back to Eris. Avery is probably also a Gryffindor, or maybe a Hufflepuff. Avery might be a Hufflepuff.
Okay, good. That makes me happy. So this book is set pretty far into the future, but if you could time travel to any point, past or future, when would you go?
Oh my gosh. So I have part of my Ravenclaw-ish nerdy fascinations is I'm really into the 17th century. I love someday I'll write a series based in 17th century France and England. It was kind of the time when everything was becoming more fun after the Middle Ages, so people were going to theaters, and there was all this drama, and Louis XIV was the ruler of France, and it was just, I feel like if I could go back in time and be an aristocrat, it's important to be an aristocrat because otherwise you don't have baths or things to eat, which are both nice to have. But I feel like it would be really fun to just kind of get to be there. I probably wouldn't want to stay there forever, but if you've ever read Outlander, that's a century later, but kind of the same thing, like the romanticized, beautiful past.
So out of all of the characters that you've written, are you able to pick favorites, or are they all just the same?
I can't really pick favorites. Certain stories become easier within different books, so people who tend to have happier stories in a certain book, those are the stories that come most easily to me. I find it very difficult to write the hard chapters, so the chapters with breakups or sad family moments, and basically anything that's making my character sad also makes me sad, and I don't want to write it. It's funny because I outline everything before I write, and when I write the outlines, I feel very able to be non-emotional about them.
Yeah.
So to kind of take a step back and say, here's what I think is the best thing for the story and what will get the most bang for my buck out of the readers. And then when I come time to write it, I feel like a different person wrote the outline, and I want to go, who wrote this terrible, mean outline? I want to protect my characters and not do the evil things to them that I planned, but I kind of have to do them anyway, so unfortunately.
Which character's head was hardest to get into when you were writing?
I'm not sure. Probably Ryland's actually has been the hardest, only because I found that she had a lot going on in book one, and I struggled to sort of keep her in a good central place with all of the different demands on her.
Right.
So her story basically included, her boyfriend kind of spinning out of control, a new romance, family troubles, and I wanted to make sure that nothing that she did felt too off the charts, so that I wanted people to still feel like they could relate to her.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that kind of was a struggle for me, because so much was happening to her.
Right. So as a teenager, what were some of the books that got you into reading?
A series that I come back to over and over is Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy. I love those so much. I actually, for the first time, went to Oxford last summer with a friend, and I sat on the Lyra bench for a long time, to the point that my friend had to drag me away because she had not read the series and didn't understand how meaningful that bench is, because it's where Lyra sits waiting for Will every midsummer. I love those books. Obviously, I also love the Harry Potter series. I actually used to read the Redwall books, if you ever read those, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, those were so good. I think these gave me my love of questing and adventures, and multi-character novels where all the characters play a really fun role, but the true joy of the series is the ensemble-ness of the cast, and any one character is great, but it's really together that they sort of find their magic, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah. All right, so now a round of this or that questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Romance or adventure?
Romance.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Past or future?
Pass.
Paperbacks or hardcover?
Oh, hardcover.
Hot weather or cold?
Hot.
And the ultimate question, good or evil?
Evil, for sure.
Oh, that makes
Maybe
me
I'm
so
a little more
happy.
Slytherin than I
All right, so thank you so much for
Thank you so
talking
much.
with me
This
today.
is so fun.
I'm glad. All right, this has been fun, but now I must sign off. I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.